Now to get started on the alternator, let's make our way over towards the driver's side to where the battery is located. You're going to want to find the black cable located furthest towards the front. We'll go ahead and remove this and set it aside from the battery. Just give that a quick inspection, make sure you don't see any funny colors. The next thing that we're going to want to do is move over to the air filter box. Now if you were to look at this, you can tell that you have the top of the clamshell here, and then if you were to make your way down along the engine, you're going to find that you have two clips that hold it to the bottom. Let's go ahead and grab one of those clips, we'll pop it free. Now we're just going to leave this as it is. Let's make our way over to the mass airflow sensor. To disconnect this, we're going to squeeze on the tab right where my thumb is. Go ahead and pull that right off of there. We'll give it a quick inspection. If you see any funny colors, it's probably corrosion and it would need to be dealt with. The next thing we're going to do is move along to the 8mm headed clamp, loosen this up a little bit so we can get this right out of the way. Let's lift this up. It's going to be a good idea to give your air filter a quick inspection as well. Now we need to make our way directly underneath the alternator to our serpentine belt tensioner. It's a little bit hard to see down there, so let's just have a look at this one. Now what we want to find is this area right here. Once you found that, you're just going to use a 3/8 drive ratchet or even a serpentine belt tool. We'll go ahead and put it into this slot right here, and then we can turn this to relieve tension from the belt. Now that we have our tool in there, let's go ahead and turn this counterclockwise to relieve tension. Now we can slide the belt off of the idler pulley. Remove your tool. Now we can get the belt off of our alternator. Just rest that aside. Let's continue on with the wiring. We'll follow this smaller strand over to its connector. To remove it from the alternator, I just use a small screwdriver. I'm going to carefully get in between the connector and the little tab, gently pry, and lift this up and off. Once you have it off, just give a peek. If you see any funny colors, it's corrosion and it would need to be dealt with. Let's go ahead and lift up this protective boot here. Now we'll remove our 10mm headed nut. Grab that cable, pull it off of there. We'll give this a quick inspection. We're going to look at it a little bit more thoroughly in a minute. Just go ahead and set that aside. Let's use a 13mm to remove all three of our mounting bolts. I'm just going to leave this bolt in just a few threads while I continue on removing the other two. Go ahead and grab onto that alternator and remove it from the vehicle. There it is, friends. Before we go ahead and put in our brand new alternator, let's have a look at the bracket where the alternator is supposed to sit. You want to make sure that the areas that it's going to sit on is nice and smooth and it's clean and free of any debris. After that, we're going to continue on with our three mounting bolts. You want to pay attention to the threaded area on each. If it looks like it's rusted, just go ahead and clean it down. Now once all that's all set, let's continue on putting in our brand new alternator. We'll just take this and slide it right into position. Now once you've inspected those bolts, go ahead and make sure that you put this over the alternator and start one of your upper bolts in. Now we can move along to the two lower bolts. You remember the one with the stud needs to be along the back side. Now let's bottom those out. Once you have them all bottomed out, torque each of them to 35 foot-pounds. Let's continue on with our wiring. Click that in there. Now for this wire right here, I told you that we're going to pay attention to it in a minute. Now's the time. What you want to do for this is take a piece of sandpaper. You're going to want to make sure you clean down both of the flat surfaces on the end where it connects onto the alternator. That looks good. Go ahead and take the new nut off of the alternator. Let's take that wire, put it in position, start the nut on there. And now we'll torque this to 71 inch-pounds. Make sure you cover that with its protective boot. Let's get the belt back on here. We're going to put it right over the alternator pulley so it's sitting in all of the grooves. Double check all the rest of the pulleys, make sure it looks like it's on there. The next thing you're going to do is apply a little bit of tension, trying to press this down and underneath the idler pulley. Once you have a little bit of pressure on that, go ahead and put your tool back on the tensioner, relieve tension, and then put the belt in position. Assuming it looks good, remove your tool. If you need your belt routing, just go ahead and take a peek right along the front of the vehicle. Okay, so now we can move on over to our negative battery terminal. Let's put that back on the battery. Slide that right on there. Press it down as far as it can go. After that, make sure it's nice and tight. Okay friends, we got the truck back together. What's left to do now? Now of course, you're just going to want to double check everything, especially that serpentine belt to make sure it's sitting inside all the grooves like I said before. After that, go ahead and hop inside the truck, start it up, let it run for approximately 5 seconds. Turn it right back off. Make your way back out here and triple check that belt one last time. After that, go ahead and start it up, take it for a road test, make sure the alternator is functioning properly and you don't have a check engine light. Thank you for watching.